Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy, Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida, too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
This episode is brought to you by... Oops. I've got a box of Cheez-It crackers staring at me, and I just wanted that irresistible cheesy crunch. Sorry, that was a total snacksident. What was I supposed to be talking about? So salty, so crunchy, so cheesy. Whoops. Lost my train of thought. I've heard of brain freeze, but brain cheese? I'll just have one more Cheez-It cracker, and then I'll get back to it.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Good morning. I'm Rabbi Joseph Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Reverend, before we go to the 55th governor of the state of New York, let me just, on behalf of the Jewish community, once again, as I do each year, apologize for the Hanukkah traffic. It is rough out there, especially near Rockefeller Center. Those Hanukkah menorahs all over the streets. It's hard to walk by. But it'll be over soon. So just Christmas will not be interfered with in any way. We apologize.
Well, that's what happens when you're constructing the largest Hanukkah menorah in the world, right? I mean, it can't be anything but disruptive.
Yeah, I got to tell you.
Do you know about that? Do you know about that?
Yeah.
In New York?
Well, we don't want to be outdone. By the way, let's bring the governor into this conversation. And you know, I know that Governor Hochul will be looking for Lieutenant Governor, Governor Patterson.
Oh,
so
I hope she's not looking at me.
All right, Governor David A. Patterson, 55th governor of the state of New York. Always a pleasure having you with us. We're going to talk about Hanukkah later on, but you know that Hanukkah was never intended to be the major. It's not a biblical holiday. It's not mentioned. It's post-biblical. And it was never was intended to receive the kind of public attention it does in America and throughout the world. I had a professor at Yeshiva University who said, if Moses were to come back and walk through the streets of America and see how Hanukkah is celebrated, he would say, my God, if this is how they enjoy Hanukkah, can you imagine what they must do on Sukkot, on Tabernacles, which is a biblical holiday? But it doesn't receive the attention of Hanukkah, a non-biblical holiday.
So why is that, Rabbi?
I think part of it is Christmas. I think Christmas. Because it's almost like a statement of, we're here, we're a minority, we want equal time, we want recognition. I think so. But it's got a major message. I always felt it's a minor holiday with a major message, and it really is the story of religious freedom. But we'll talk about that later because the governor has things that he wants to express to us.
All right. So what are we going to start with? What are we opening with?
So, Governor, let me ask you this question. Your candidate loses in an election, and then you have to decide, what do you do? How do you interact? Do you become part of the opposition? Do you try to, engage in what we call constructive engagement? I know a number of people who are obviously unhappy with the mayoral results. On the other hand, they say, well, he's our mayor now. We have to work with him. And there are those who say, no, don't work with him. What do you say, Governor?
I'm going to compare this to an historic controversy that was almost fatal for a lot of people. And it was back in 1962 when we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. And what happened was that when Kennedy announced to Khrushchev that they were not going to attack, but they would respond if they were attacked. And Khrushchev responded with something, pretty acceptable. That's fine. Mm-hmm. We'll get everything worked out. We'll get everything out. And then about 2 days later, he sends another telegram to Kennedy, and the telegram is antagonistic. If you don't move those, army people, if you don't move those planes away, we'll blow you off the face of the earth, that kind of thing. So when they were examining the two letters, I think it was Bobby Kennedy, the senator's brother, who suggested the first letter was written by Khrushchev. The second letter was written by the people all around him. And remember, Khrushchev didn't last 2 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis. So what I'm sort of saying with Mamdani is, from time to time, he makes statements that are appeasing. From time to time, he has meetings. And when the Board of Rabbis had a meeting with him, I know it was a closed door and there was not supposed to be any discussion after the meeting, but it didn't sound like he enraged the rabbis. But then he's got this problem. His biggest problem, in my opinion, isn't housing. It isn't getting free buses. His biggest problem is trying to be independent and to be a socialist at the same time. And I don't think there are very few people that actually do that. One of these days, something's going to happen, and Mamdani is going to be somewhat offended, and he's going to make a statement about it. And then the next thing you know, just watch, he's going to change his position, because he didn't really get in this position because of his individual effort. There was a very, very strong, very, very well-funded group around him. And when he starts to think that he can make decisions on his own and everyone's going to understand it, he's going to have a rude awakening.
So breaking news, you heard it here on the Reverend The Rabbi show that Mamdani, like Khrushchev, will only last 2 years after this event happens. You heard it here,
and
right here. Breaking news.
And that he has missiles also in his office. Well, so in other words, you're beholden to the ones who brought you to the dance. Is that what you're saying, Governor?
Yeah, I mean, we're all beholden to the people who supported us to a certain degree. But say, for instance, when I became governor, there were people who were very supportive of me when I ran that didn't like some of the decisions that I made. But they were more, it was like on an individual basis. You know, they would say, I'm still with you, but I really don't understand why you did this and such. With him, the whole group is acting as a force. They're not really individualistic. In fact, in a lot of ways, they are all acting from the same basic idea, which is that socialism should rule the world.
Right.
And I think that if Mamdani, who is a human being like anyone else, and something's going to happen that he will be, somewhat appalled by, but they won't be appalled by it. And it reminded me of the final chapter of the book, Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, where when the protagonist finally tries to pull away from the socialists, they just absolutely destroy him. They throw him out of the group. They take away all of his apartment, everything. He winds up living in a shelter, and that's where he writes the book from. But the whole premise is your friends that help you get there sometimes can be your enemies if you don't do exactly what they want you to do.
Yeah. So you can't. Go ahead, Rev. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he's got me thinking about quite a few things, because essentially leadership has a lot to do with how you respond to crisis. You can't plan a pandemic in the middle of your first year as president of the United States. You know what I mean? You can't plan a George Floyd. You can't plan a lot of things. I'm just focusing on, Trump's first term. And then you can't plan an immigrant crisis. These things will happen, and how you respond to them will make all the difference in the world. And those responses sometimes require you to take the lead. In other words, leadership means that you as an individual, as a leader, have to make a decision. And sometimes it's contrary to the people around you. You're saying, Governor, with this particular ideology, it's not going to work that way?
That's what I'm saying, that he will not be provided the independence that most people who get to a position as high as he enjoy. And by comparison, I mean, I remember people getting so agitated at some things that I did when I was first governor. And, within 6 to 9 months, they forgot about it because I did something they liked. It doesn't work that way in the socialist camp. If you agree with a socialist 100% of the time, they'll love you. If you agree with a socialist 99% of the time, they hate you. There's no middle ground with that.
So when you say you're going to govern, you're the mayor for the entire city, and the socialists say, but you're our guy. We're the ones who brought you there. It's pretty hard to resolve that conflict. Am I right?
Right. Unless, and I don't know whether this did or didn't happen, there was some kind of meeting or conversation involving the mayor-elect and other supporters of his who are not necessarily socialists, but supported him. And then the hardcore people who basically said, the woman, Lynn, whatever her name is, said, he's our guy.
Yeah, Saussure, Linda Saussure.
Linda Saussure.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the last thing I'd ever want to hear in my life is Linda Saussure say, Patterson is our guy.
Yeah,
because I'll save them the trouble and jump out of a window.
Yeah, well,
Governor,
we'll be behind you.
Yeah, we've got to go to a break, but we got to come back because we're also assuming that people understand the definition of some of the terms that are being used here. Stand by for more of the Rev and the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Networks. We'll be right back.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees-info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secure Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joe Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard. Governor, we were using terms like socialism, socialist, and assuming that, our audience fully understands the use of these terms. So you address socialist and the Mayor Mamdani, who says he's a democratic socialism. So is there a difference between socialist in terms of the core idea and democratic socialism, which has its own core idea?
Well, I think democratic socialism is a kinder, gentler way to say that you're a socialist, in the sense that he's mayor and he is governing based on, he also has a legislative record, and he has programs he wants to try to enact. And yes, in that respect, he's like any other mayor. But if that was the case, then what was it about being a socialist that makes him that happy to announce it? In other words, he's a Democratic candidate. He's an activist. He's, leftist. He and people like that have gotten a lot of things done from time to time. But the question is, can he do that and resist the pressure that I think will be brought upon him to do a lot of things that even he won't like in his core?
So my question is this, Governor. When one says, I'm a socialist, or I believe in socialism, where do they point to where socialism was a success?
Cleveland.
I mean, how does one take a stance? One would take a stance when the history of socialism has been one of failure.
I mean, you can name all the countries, all the continents, all the cities, all the towns, all the hamlets, and there isn't one of them that demonstrated that socialism worked because, as I was saying before, inevitably the leader gets consumed by the hardcore activists. You know, as much as you might think that Mandani's a little out there, there are people who leave him in the dust. And they have jumped in and helped in this campaign, but they expect results. It's almost the same in another venue as an individual who runs for office, raises a ton of money, wipes out the field, and then starts governing the way they had wanted to and practicing the ideals that they believe in. And the money people come in and say, hey, wait a minute. We gave you a lot of money. Now we want to build this bridge. You build this bridge, or you're out of here. So it's a difficult situation for anyone. In one respect, because I became governor in a very unique way, I didn't really have to answer to anyone because nobody really got me there. I just got there, and I think it was easier than it would have been through the normal process.
You know, so when we think, I just, and again, the definition of terms is always critical because, I dealt with this in school. I don't know how many read Animal Farm. It was required reading for us, and some took it by, George Orwell and compared it to the French Revolution. We compared it to the Bolshevik Revolution, which puts us right in that realm of socialism and socialist thought.
But remember,
and the word is being used. Go ahead.
I was going to say, remember, Reverend, at the end of Animal Farm, the pigs who had taken over the farm are sitting around playing poker. And he writes that some of them had 5 chins, then it appeared they had 4 chins, then it appeared they had 3 chins, and then they became humans. So
exactly.
That was really the message of Animal Farm, is that these people who take over and think they're going to create this equal opportunity situation wind up in a worse situation than they did when it started.
Yeah. Governor, let me ask you.
I want to be clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question, Governor. So you got to govern the city of New York, or in your case, the state of New York. Why do you get bogged down in foreign affairs, the Middle East? Why does that become central to your platform when there's so much to do in running city or state? Give it a break. Separate yourself from that. You don't have time for that. There's enough to do as mayor without worrying about what's happening in the Middle East.
I think that New York City is unique in the sense that it really is, as I see it, the capital of the world. And in that regard, you're going to address the issues of the other nations. In other words, New York City itself, is almost like a nation state. And that's why, even if Mamdani never said anything about Israel, they would have bugged him until they got an answer. In his case, he saved them the trouble and gave his answer right away.
How often, though? How often does one give an answer?
Well, now there, Rabbi, as usual, your worldly view, your great intellect just totally informs me that the problem
I
with
can't argue with your
Mamdani was,
impeccable judgment. Yeah.
yes, he wanted to make sure that the socialists who are not democratic socialists heard his message. And that's where I thought if he continues to do that, that dog is going to come back to bite him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, what you just said there is critical because it's a critical distinction that you're making. You can come in as a democratic socialism, which means that you still employ elections. There's a democratic system involved. The idea is to reform capitalism, not remove capitalism. There's still ownership. Government doesn't control everything. But what you're saying there, even though, we're saying it's democratic socialism, essentially it's socialism. Is that what you're saying? That's the real core of the ideology that's being dealt with?
I think it's the reason that he talked about Israel so much, because if he didn't talk about it, and this goes right back to what I said at the beginning of our discussion, then the hardcore socialists are going to say, "Hey, what the hell is the matter with you? We put you in there to be our voice, and you don't talk about how Israel is doing all these things in the Middle East, and you don't talk about how it's really Israel's fault that there's a problem in Gaza, and all these issues in which they believe." And that's where I think that he either knowingly or not knowingly is going to have a struggle with the members of his party, whereas the regular type of mayor that gets elected, there's some supporters that have a greater voice than others, but basically everybody respects that they're the mayor, and when the mayor makes a decision, they either agree with that person or they just don't say anything. But here, I think you may see a lot more turbulence based on some of his actions and some of the things that he says.
Yeah. Before we got about 3 minutes left, talk about the governor's race. Now you see the entrance of Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County executive, into the race, whereas before people thought that President Trump is backing Elise Stefanik. How do you read it?
Well, President Trump is backing Elise Stefanik. For whatever reason, there was a belief that he put pressure on Blakeman not to run or anything like that. And I've known Bruce Blakeman a long time. Both of us are from Long Island. When he first was running, I sort of saw him as not ready for prime time. But he has really turned Nassau County around. He supported all types of economic development opportunities. Not all of them moved to fruition, but it wasn't his fault. And Elise Stefanik, to me, is shrill, doesn't really know the issues, would rather yell at people than try to demonstrate how much she does know. And I predict that he will beat her, and it won't be close.
Wow.
Wow. Well, look, I have to agree with you, Governor, if I may weigh in. Blakeman, he has real executive experience, strong law and order posture, and, he can compete countywide. The challenge will be to take some of that and make it, spread throughout the state. That's always going to be a challenge for him. But, that's interesting.
And you need 30% of the city to win the election in the state. So the question is, who gets the 30%? Is Blakeman better positioned? Many
that
people
will
said
be that will be in the general election because he and Stefanik are running in a primary.
Right.
Where it's always been difficult for upstaters to come down and win. A lot of upstaters have done well in the suburbs, but in Nassau and Suffolk County, they're going to go for Bruce Blakeman. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Thank you.
We got time? Are we?
No, we're Elias Raff, who is our producer, has signaled that time is up for us. However, we got to go to another break. No, that's it. Yeah, then we'll come back. We're going to talk about Hanukkah. But this governor is not through with politics. It's in his kishkes. in Yiddish. It's in his system.
It sounds frightening.
Yeah, mention to your doctor. I got something in my kishkas. It's politics. All right. Thank you, Governor. David A. Patterson.
Thank you so much.
Governor.
Thank you both. Take care.
All right. Always a pleasure. God bless. And stay tuned for more of the Rev and the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Network. We'll be right back.
All right, Elias.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
Everyone wants the Emirates NBA Cup.
And things are heating up.
30 teams started. Bang! But only 8 have advanced to the single elimination knockout rounds. To survive, they'll have to be hungry, relentless, ruthless.
Are you kidding me?
They all want the cup, but only one team can claim it. Who will capture the cup? Emirates NBA Cup semifinals, Saturday on Prime.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
This is Charlie. He's my part rescue dog, part whirlwind. Half of his breakfast always ends up on the floor. And he leaves fur everywhere. That's why I grabbed the Bissell Power Clean Fur Finder. It's cordless, powerful, and actually finds fur you don't even see. If you've got a pet like Charlie, you've got fur everywhere. The Power Clean Fur Finder gets that. Discover how Power Clean Fur Finder makes pet cleanups effortless at Bissell.com.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joseph Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Reverend, it's really an honor for me to have a good friend, Reverend Dr. Jonathan Pearl, who is the founder of a congregation known as Ashreinu, which you can talk about as well. But he founded this community in Astoria. It has grown significantly, and that is attributable to his leadership. Rabbi Pearl, thank you so much.
I'm so pleased to be with you, and especially at this time of year when we can come together to talk about good things, which I think we need in our world.
Yeah. Well, Ashreinu means let us be happy. And that's a statement because I know a lot of unhappy people, so I'm happy to know someone who founded a congregation that deals with happiness. We were talking about Hanukkah, and the Rev asked before that it seems to receive a lot of attention, and you and I know, Rabbi, that it's considered a minor holiday that receives major, major attention. And I said it's a minor holiday with a major message. Talk about it.
I agree with you. I think it's a major holiday. I think the technicality of what a major and minor holiday aside, I think the idea, as you just said, the message of Hanukkah is one of major import. It does tie into what you mentioned in terms of the name of my congregation, Ashreinu, which is a prayer we actually say every single morning, being grateful for the happiness and good fortune we have in our lives. And even when people have difficulties and challenges in life, one of the great gifts we have is the ability to be able to look beyond that, to look deeper and to say there are gifts and blessings which I have for which I should be grateful. Hanukkah comes at a time of year when it's dark out and the days are shorter and it can get chilly. And those messages of kind of a down situation, Hanukkah comes to remind us that there is light, not only light that is externally shared with us, but light that we can bring to the world and we can bring to others, to friends, to family, to the community. And when we act in a way that's responsible, that's good, that's decent, that is caring, we bring that light not only to ourselves in our own little world, but it has an effect on the world at large as well.
It also has themes of religious freedom attached to it as well. Correct, Rabbi?
So I agree with you. The idea of religious freedom is one that is not simply a moniker for what we call it, like a label of something. Religious freedom is something that should be treasured. Religious freedom is the freedom not only to be able to do and practice as we want, but it's a message that our practice should be one that brings goodness to the world, that allows others to practice and believe as they want to without anybody being persecuted for that. And one of the histories of Hanukkah is that the Jewish people were persecuted for what they believed. They were denied the ability to be able to learn, to live, to practice. And Hanukkah taught us that we have the right, the ability, the privilege, the responsibility to stand up for ourselves, to live as good, decent people, to believe, to practice in a way that makes our world better and the whole world better. So that light, that religious liberty, they tie into each other. Yeah. And all of these things, I think, deal with the idea of being grateful. The idea of being grateful is one that makes us happier. I think it makes other people happier. I also think it gives us a sense of humility that, we're not the be-all and end-all and the greatest things in the world. There are people out there who do help us. There's God who helps us. There's a world out there that's there for our using and our bettering. So the ideas of gratitude, religious liberty, light, goodness, all of these come together on Hanukkah.
Can I mention?
And it's not just, I just want to follow up, and it's not just the right to worship God, but it's the right to worship God freely in the face of oppression. I think that's very important when it comes to our understanding of Hanukkah. Correct, gentlemen?
Correct. Yes, and I think if we think of it this way, it's very easy to be good and nice and observe and worship and pray and all these things when things are easy, when there is no oppression, when it's not difficult. It's very easy to do that. When there's oppression around, it's much more challenging to stand up and be courageous and bold and say, I'm still going to stand up. And I think that's what we celebrate. The Maccabees, in the face of oppression, didn't succumb to it, but rather stood up to it and said, we are here, and we're going to survive and thrive because it's the right thing to do.
Let me follow up on that. It's interesting because when you look at the history of Hanukkah with the Syrian Greeks going into the temple, destroying the Hanukkah menorah, they didn't destroy the temple. They were, in a sense, saying, well, you can go to the temple, but you're going to go the way we want you to go. You're going to observe the way we want you to observe. And if I could use a parallel, it's like those who say, well, you can be Jewish, but don't you dare talk about Zionism. You're going to be Jewish the way we define Judaism for you. Do you see that parallel?
I do. And if we think of all the times that we're told how to think and what to think, and sometimes we're afraid to stand up for knowing what's right and doing what's right because of the pressure about being told what to do and what to think. I will just follow up on what you just said, Rabbi Potasnik, in that the Syrian Greek army was not there killing us. Right. They were killing our spirit. They were denying us the ability to learn and to study and to practice as we believed. And that was a different kind of a death that they were trying to impose on us.
Different ways to kill people.
Yeah, but doesn't that bring about the whole idea of, because we have it in our faith tradition, we call it cultural Christian and cultural Christianity. So I would suspect that you have cultural Judaism, which is where Jewish people identify, with the history, the tradition, the values, the food, etc., but not necessarily hold to the religious beliefs and practice the commandments. Am I correct in what I'm saying here?
Yes, my father once said a long time ago, once said they have cultural Judaism and gastronomical Judaism. It's the chicken soup Judaism. He said that. Yes, there are many ways of identifying with being Jewish, with being religious, with being part of a people and a culture. But the basics, the most fundamental ones, the ones that keep us alive for all these centuries and millennia for who we are much deeper than simply the cultural, the gastronomic things. Yeah. It's the morality. It's the guidance of who we are. It's where we came from, who our ancestors are, where we lived, what we believed in, what we prayed for, what we fought for. All these things are so basic and foundational to who we are. You're right.
We can be humanists, right? If our religion is not important for us and we just want to do good, be kind, if that's the essence, how does that differentiate you from being a secular humanist?
Right. Religious practice is supposed to lead us to being good. Being good doesn't lead us to being religious. Believing in God, the whole point of believing in God, God tells us that we're supposed to be good. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the ways. If we look back at the development of Judaism and then Christianity, if we look back at the development and the beginnings of these things, we were surrounded by a world that didn't believe in all the things that we take for granted, like don't steal and don't murder and don't commit adultery. These were not obvious ways to live. And we stood up and said, but this is the right way to live. God told us this is the morality of life. We're going to teach that to the world. Maybe people didn't want to hear that.
Well, I'm going to give both of you credit. The first time I preached this sermon called The Gastronomical Christian, I'm going to say it's from two favorite rabbi friends of mine.
Well, when you ask people, what makes you Jewish? Well, look, I eat bagels and lox. Yeah. You're right? Come on. How much more Jewish can I be?
That's it.
Talk about, what, it's interesting. Talk about Jewish pride. Because Hanukkah says you can light the menorah, but put it in the window. Let others see it. And I remember the cardinal years ago during the rise of anti-Semitism, which has reemerged, he actually put a Hanukkah menorah in the window to say, you are all spiritual Semites. And, you want to attack them, attack me. But the whole idea of publicizing the miracle is an essential, a fundamental component of Hanukkah.
I think you hit on a key word. Instead of being afraid of being Jewish, we should be absolutely proud of being Jewish. The best way to transmit what we believe in as being good is to be proud of who we are and what we do. This is how we transmit it to our children and to our friends and to our families and to our communities. The idea of being proud of who we are is not a negative. I think it's an extraordinary positive. It's also part of being grateful. Being grateful for who we are is being proud of who we are.
Yeah. So, Rev, you understand why Rabbi Jonathan Pearl is beloved by his community. Because what he does is he instills pride and joy. It's not all about pain, right? It's not all about, they're going to get us. It's also about we stood up for our rights, we stood up for ourselves, and we're proud of who we are. That's a message that young people need to hear as well.
This is back to what you said in the beginning, and I appreciate that when you said the name of the congregation is Ashrenu, which means we are fortunate and we are happy. We are really happy with what we have and who we are, and we're going to live that way.
All right.
Yeah, I know we're coming to the end of the segment, but it just, it inspires me, this conversation, because there's a potential for the erosion of religious literacy. And we have a greater responsibility to make sure that our congregants understand, from our religious perspective, the true meaning and history of these things that we celebrate, not just culturally.
Absolutely. One of the messages and aims I have for my congregation always is to just get them to really enjoy and love being together in our shul, in our synagogue. The details come with time and come with learning, but to really want to be part of who we are, to love it. And I think that's what's happening. And I'm proud of that. And it's one of the great messages that I bring, that I share in terms of Hanukkah, being happy and proud of who we are and sharing that with the world, bringing light to the world.
Rev, one of the things I know about Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Pearl, you will not hear him discuss politics in the pulpit.
This is true.
Right? You can have a conversation with him about he's very proficient in politics and he has his own political positions. But when it comes to the pulpit, leave it elsewhere. Don't bring it here.
If we had some time, I would challenge that because I would.
Why don't we come back? Why don't we come back? Right.
All right. Let's take a break. Stay tuned for more of the Rev the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Networks.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
John Legend, Sheryl Crow, Elvis Costello, and Alanis Morissette star in the MGM Plus original series, Words and Music. Iconic artists share intimate performances and the stories behind the songs. New episodes Sundays on MGM Plus.
Get Popeye's Scary Good Freddy Fazbear Box with garlic palm tenders and cheesy bites with marinara sauce. Or try the deluxe box with the Cupcake Cup and a 20-ounce drink and see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, only in theaters. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Okay, Chad. Today you're gonna drive the all-electric Toyota BZ.
But my electric vehicle phobia. I'm not ready, Dr. Ross.
I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. We're inside it.
Try to take deep breaths, okay?
The ventilated seats, they're touching me.
You can do this, Chad. Drive the car. How do you feel, Chad?
I feel cured. Woohoo! I'm doing it!
The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Toyota. Let's go places.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Doom scrolling during this ad break? Ditch the doom and get peace of mind with new Blink 2K Plus Smart Security. Check on home from your phone with 2K Clarity, noise cancellation, and 4x zoom. Plus, setup is so simple, you can easily install while listening to your favorite podcast. True crime girlies? We got you. Get more, spend less with Blink 2K Plus Smart Security.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joseph Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
And we are speaking with Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Pearl, founder of a congregation, a community known as Ashreinu, which means let us be happy, let us be proud. Rev, I think you had a question you want to raise about politics in the pulpit.
Well, yeah, you made the comment that the rabbi is not political, and yet in reality, we can't help but being political to a degree. I mean, I don't mean we get up and we espouse a particular political party or political leaning, but essentially we are teaching our people how to relate their faith to the real world.
Right.
And that real world is governed by politics because politics determines ultimately the quality of life that they experience. I mean, I think about the captivity in Babylon and what that took. Jeremiah's words, settle down, build houses, marry your children, plant gardens, pray for the peace and prosperity of the city. If it prospers, you prospers. We as Christians, we take from that experience and what it means to not assimilate, but definitely have to integrate within society. So I'm saying that in some ways, and I will compliment the rabbi, Rabbi Pearl. He probably has become so good at this that they don't even realize that it's somewhat political. Rabbi, I'll let you respond to that.
You're setting me up for a problem. Let me say this. A number of years ago, I saw a lot of divisiveness. I saw a lot of hostility growing among people who are supposed to be there caring for each other. And it was based on political affiliations and belief in certain causes and non-belief in certain causes. And I saw what was happening, and I sent a letter out. I wrote a very, very clear letter saying that there is no politics in the synagogue. People are here to come together. If you have politics, there are plenty of organizations, plenty of groups that you can go join, whether chats, whether in actuality. There's plenty of places to go for that. When you come into the synagogue, you're there for Hinei Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. You'll hear how pleasant and how wonderful it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in peace and harmony and goodness. That's why we come to synagogue, to shul. We sing and we pray, and I leave all else out. When people try to bring it up, I don't I don't allow it. I don't pursue it.
But Rabbi, let me direct this. I think what Reverend Bernard is saying, if I could, no one ever speaks for him, but if I could speak with him on this, there are political principles that come under the aegis of religious principles. And I think sometimes what clergy does is it talks about religion and things we stand for, and that can be used to examine a political problem, right? For example, if you talk about the welfare of your people and praying, being free to pray anywhere for your people, I think that directs people many times to a political party that aligns more with the religious principle. What do you think?
Somehow, and I've been told this, I am very strong in promoting religious principles, and I've been told by many people after services that they have been led by what I've said to their cause.
Mm-hmm.
And completely different
Mm-hmm.
causes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my aim is not to lead them to... I have very strong beliefs in which causes I believe in and which causes I want to... which I agree with, which I don't agree with. I don't let that come through. And it seems clear to me that I've succeeded in not letting it come through because people come who have very, very varying political beliefs. I know that. And for some reason, they say I speak to them because I don't try to make anybody feel there that they have to believe a certain way, except they have to believe Jewishly. They have to believe in goodness. They have to believe in the way God wants us to believe. And I know that there are differences of opinion on that. I know that. There are different ways of understanding that. And I'm not saying it's monolithic. Obviously not. And there are different religions that attest to that as well. But within the context of my synagogue, I give a very strong sense of what I feel it means to be religious and to be good. And it doesn't seem to affect people politically. I don't know what's going to be down the road, but that's how I've managed to deal with it. The only stance that I take, and for me, I don't see it as political. I see it as thoroughly Jewish. As I'm very Zionistic, and I let it be known that one to be Jewish, one has to be a Zionist. Mm-hmm. And I've written about that. I've published articles about that as well, and everybody in the synagogue knows that. And in fact, it's interesting. After October 7th. People who didn't feel connected ran to become connected again with a community, with the Jewish community, and with Zionism. Mm-hmm. Not everybody, obviously, but those who felt that sense of need to be connected in that way and in those ways did that.
Mm.
If I may, the point is clear. You made the point here because you said you give them a principle and they take that principle and then determine how they're going to apply it. A principle is a principle is a broad and basic truth, different from a precept, which is a commandment. You get to the stop sign, it says stop, that's clear. You don't need interpretation. But when you get to the yield sign, you have to have some wisdom and experience. It doesn't say who to yield to, how much to yield, when to yield. It leaves discretion and knowledge and experience to you and how to apply in response to that. And this is what principles do. And I think this is what we give people. We give them some tools to help them make decisions, whether they're political, social, moral, spiritual decisions. And I think that's what we do. I'm preaching here to the choir, but you just inspired me, continue to inspire me, Rabbi.
Right.
I will. The one word you said there, I think, is one of the key ingredients, tools, openings to living the good, decent, religious, moral life, and that is the word wisdom. And that is in short supply too often. It's not smart. Mm-hmm. It's not being clever. The idea of wisdom, and as we know in Tanakh, it says, "Reshit Chochma Yirat Adonai." The beginning of wisdom is a fear of God, is an awe of God, is an awe of the universe, and having that sense of knowing who we are, where we are, what our direction is. Wisdom is what I think would achieve a lot in this world.
Rabbi, before we let you go, we come to almost the end here. You have a congregation that is composed of many people who were not affiliated before. we're seeing the rise of the unaffiliated. So what you're doing contravenes what is happening in many places. If you could, in 58 seconds, how does one attract unaffiliated to become affiliated?
Music, joy, happiness, respect, and pride and true belief in what we're doing. It's not a question of imposing a particular way or a particular ritual. It's a way of, and I am ritualistic, and I wear a kippah always, and all these things. I don't tell people to do that. I share with them my sense of a love of Judaism, a passionate love of Judaism, of doing good, of bringing light to their lives. And as I said, with music, with joy, with happiness, with respect, with pride and love, and a deep sense of passion for being Jewish. That's it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Rabbi Dr.
Excellent.
Jonathan Pearl. Rev?
Excellent.
It's a wrap.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, great program. And thank you, Rabbi Pearl, for being on the program and contributing so much. Great conversation. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us here Sunday mornings for the dynamic duo, the Rev and the Rabbi. Till next time, God bless.
Thanks for listening to The Rev and the Rabbi. You can hear The Rev and the Rabbi Sunday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.